Man, we are now 87 days in on SEMEN retention. And yesterday, yesterday was almost game over. It was almost end games, a doomsday scenario where I don't know what happened, but I was fired up. I was able to see the sun in the morning, and my blood was just flowing, and I just felt real good. Like something transformative kind of happened within my body, it felt like, And every woman I saw, I wanted to approach and talk to. I had to hold everything in my power back to even just like talk to them. I was just so like, bro, I felt like a dog yesterday, just wanting to make love with all of them, like, and that's not, I would have failed the mission. I would have failed, the mission at hand, everything I'm trying to do, everything I'm trying to conquer. I want to just endure the hard things in life as much as I possibly can. And this thing I'm doing right now, just resisting the temptation of women, even though I can, get them at my damn near desire. It's like, it's tough. It's tough because a lot of people, a lot of men, me included, work to a certain point in order to be able to, obtain the things that they want, obtain the woman that they want and all that. And then you finally have the capability to do it. And you got to resist that temptation. It's like, it's difficult. It's difficult. 100%. But you just have to remember the mission in mind. To just keep moving forward and just push all that to the side. Like, it doesn't matter. None of that matters, because if I, start to go after women, even though, I could sense that, I can make something happen with some of them, the way they look at me and all that, especially right now, almost 90 days in, they can sense it. And it's just like, I know it's not worth it at all. I've been so focused. I've been just so on point. To do all that for the past almost 90 days, 87 days, to do all that just to lose it all because of temptation, because I couldn't do the hard things. And then remind myself that I'm somebody who can't do the hard things yet again. And become that old version of myself yet again. And just have to restart everything from scratch yet again. Like, imagine how, stupid I would seem just posting the next video, day one of SEMEN retention again, or I relapse, something like that. It's just so cringe. Because I'm somebody who's on this journey, and fortifying my mind every single day to make sure that, I can keep going on this conquest. And a lot of people will be like, it's not that serious, man. Just have a little bit of fun. But I haven't gotten to, the goals that I want to accomplish fully just yet. I'm only in the beginning stages of gaining some sort of momentum. That's when, people fail. When they get a little bit of momentum and then they get a bit comfortable and they say, oh, it's okay if I do this. It's okay if I snack a little bit here, cheat on my diet a little bit here, and a little bit there. That little bit here, a little bit there mentality will just destroy your progress. It will hold you back from, pushing forward and getting to that new limit, that new potential of who you are and who you can become. That's what, separates the true winners from the people who almost win. A lot of people almost win, and then they get comfortable, and that's it. They just, they get to a point where they get too comfortable and they got to start again and again and again and again. The cycle just keeps repeating and continuing on and on and on again. So I just had to remind myself of everything I built, everything I had, and just, I was in the gym when I was experiencing all this. I'm surrounded by a bunch of women in, a bunch of damn near half naked women just in, the tightest clothing and all that, all sweaty and everything. It's just, you know how it is in the gym. Like, let's be real. Everybody tries to go there to look good as well, especially the women. Men too. I do the same thing. I make sure I'm wearing a good outfit because I'm going to feel better while I train and I'll look crazy in the mirror and all that. Women do the same thing, So, I just had to remind myself, like, stay calm and just transmute all of that sexual energy and sexual desire to my workout right now, to my cardio, to all that. And then, it worked itself out. I got out of there and I just calmed myself down. But I feel this new spark within me of just, there's always this like animalistic spark that, kind of returns back into me. I'll have this, calmness for a while and then I'll have this just surge of energy. Usually it's when I just get a proper amount of sleep or more than enough sleep. I've been taking magnesium as well to get some, better quality sleep. And maybe that's really helping me out and really, helping me recover. So when I'm, eating on point, my diet is just genuinely on point. Everything's on point. And then on top of that, I get good sleep. Then the effects of semen retention are just like tenfold. I'm still kind of nerfed right now because of the type of job that I work and that my circadian rhythm isn't on point and all this sort of stuff. I'm kind of nerfed in a sense. I'm not even at the true highest potential of all of this just yet. I don't have all the proper rest and all that. I'm just doing what I can right now with what I have. That's what it's all about. Like every day, you get this new opportunity to try. To try, to give it your all. Right now for me, it's like 2 or 3 a.m. Today's like partially a holiday, so I go into work later. I go in at 7 a.m. Little like 5-hour shift or something, nothing crazy, which is nice. But it is like 2 a.m. right now. I'm making this video. I usually make it all the time at, around this time. And, I'm off 3 hours of sleep. I had the magnesium in me, but fireworks woke me up because it's the 4th of July, But what a great holiday too, 4th of July. Some people might not agree with, American politics, all this, especially if you're from another country. Understandable. But just the idea of what America is and the, like, you don't have to always agree with the artist, but the art behind it, the idea behind what America is, the ability to become free and chase some sort of freedom within your life. The pursuit of that, the American dream, that's beautiful. That is truly beautiful. And I understand people who don't, agree with American politics, all of that, It's not all sunshine and rainbows. But the idea behind it, the idea of just, doing everything in your power to just become free within your own, environment is beautiful. Like you have another day, you were gifted the opportunity to wake up today. Once again, you woke up today again. That's a gift. That's not a given, it's a gift. So now your job, your one true job for the day should just be to try hard. Just try to your hardest ability to just do the best that you can. And that's what will build a satisfying life. You know, a true life of satisfactory. Just trying your best at being you. I think that's the true key answer here. It's not all about money. You know, money can help to a certain point, and money can become a fun game. But, you know, and you need money to survive, of course. Let's be realistic here. But at the end of the day, as long as you know deep down in your heart that you gave it your all and you really fucking tried, man, you should be proud. You can go to sleep proud and get ready for the next day, the next mission. And as long as you wake up again, you gotta get to it, man. You gotta try harder. And then eventually when things start to get easy because you've just been doing the hard things at this point on autopilot because you've had that momentum for so long and now it's just part of your routine, part of your habit. Now you need to try a little bit harder. Try to make things harder on purpose in order to fulfill that, you know, that hunger. You can't ever let that hunger die. That is when people truly die on this earth, when they let that hunger, just let go of that hunger for wanting more. Not more material things, not more just out of their life, but more of themselves, more from within. Just becoming better and mastering who you are. I think that's the whole main point of what this life is about. And this could translate to everything in life, you know? This could translate to your training in the gym. Maybe you've been going to the gym for a really long time and, you know, you've been shredded before, you've been really massive, you're huge, you're shredded, you're jacked out of your mind. Maybe the next step for you is, you know, trying something a little bit more difficult again. You know, trying to learn how to fight or trying to learn how to run a marathon. But you take it step by step once again and try to just make things hard again. So then you could, you know, figure out something to conquer. You always need something to conquer, and it doesn't have to be this massive thing. It doesn't have to be the world. You just need to learn how to keep on trying to conquer yourself, your fears, all of that, and keep at that. You know, any fear that you have at a point in time, you should try everything in your power to face it. You need to face your fears in order to grow and evolve and actually become the person that you want to become. You know? That's the point of life, man, is to live, to truly live and truly figure out who you are and what you're capable of. You know, because you could be gone tomorrow, and as long as you know that you died trying, that is a satisfying life. That is satisfactory right there. And you should always strive to get better. It doesn't matter how old you get, how old you are. Keep trying new things. Keep trying to get better. Develop new skills, new hobbies. No matter... And people... Okay, this is the thing too. People can tell you your hobbies or goals are stupid, right? But it doesn't matter. If you believe that, you know, it's something that you may find some sort of passion in and you want to pursue it because you believe that, you know, it can be challenging, but you want to try to get better at it, fucking go for it. Go for it. Fuck what anybody says and just go for it. Because something's telling you inside that, you know, you want to do this thing. So why not give it a shot? Why would you resist that, desire to give it a try? Nobody ever fails from trying. The people who fail are the people who give up. You don't fail from trying. So why not try new things all the time and try to get better and better and better, At a certain point in time, hone in on a certain skill or craft or whatever it is, and then try to master it. And maybe that might be your whole mission your entire life, trying to master one skill. Maybe you're a painter and you want to really just master it, or a sculptor and you really want to master it, and that's your life's work, because it's always something that's going to be hard to you. No matter how far you go, how deep you dive in, it'll always be a challenge. So you don't need to try to shift to something else that is harder. And maybe, during that endeavor, you don't make a lot of money, or you don't, become successful in other people's eyes, but in your eyes, you became successful. You did something that a lot of people cannot do. You did the hard things no matter what. And you found something that you love and you're truly passionate about. It's really not a money game. This race for money is just, it's a pointless endeavor. It's a fun game, yes, but it's not everything. Don't make it everything. Find your conquest and just, pour out your heart into that. Even if maybe you have to work a little bit less so you can, concentrate and focus more on that. And also, there are more ways than ever to monetize, your passion. But, even forget all that. But just to dive into your passion and try to work hard at it every single day is something that is just awesome. You can be a boxer and maybe you're not the greatest. Maybe you can't get to that professional level, but you give it your all and try your best every single day. And you get better, and you are better than yourself, the younger version of yourself years ago. And you just keep getting better and better and better. And it's still very hard and difficult, but you still get it done. That's great. Doesn't matter if, you make it your career or make it to some sort of professional level. You created something of value to you. If you want to be, the best family man ever, and, have the best family setup with the wife, the kids, the white picket fence, have that whole setup going on, then chase that. If that's your dream, chase it. Don't give up on that just because the world tells you that, statistically speaking, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Most marriages fail. Yeah, but it's very dependent on you though. If you really know that you showed up, you gave it your all, and say it still even does fail, you know that it's not on you, because you truly gave it your all. And if you didn't, then that's on you too. Then you did fail. But that's okay. You're human. But if that's your mission and your conquest to be the best family man ever, then you can make that happen too. You can make anything happen that you desire. Especially on semen retention, I mean, being a family man, it's kind of difficult to do that if you want to. I mean, if you're releasing in order to have children, I think that's the proper way to do it. You'll create some powerful fucking kids. But otherwise, yeah, every man should be retaining. It shouldn't even be that difficult. It shouldn't be this thing that's you have to rewire your entire brain and entire existence. Like, we got so indoctrinated by, you know, all this explicit content constantly pumped out down our like throats, like just, oh yeah, this is normal, this, that, in school, like everyone would talk about it and it would just be normal. And now it's just super normalized everywhere, on social media and all this stuff. So that is the true like fall of man right there. That is why everyone is so like weak and all this stuff. It's not the, microplastics and all this stuff. It's that. It's the distraction of your mind. It's the manipulation of your mind. Because when you do that, you're satisfied. When you release, you're satisfied. What do you have to conquer? You conquered everything, biologically. Your mind thinks that you just, conquered a woman and had a child or something like that. But you didn't. Like, your nut is all over your stomach or all over your hand. Like, it's ridiculous if you really think about it. All the people who, respect to them, in any country, all the people who go to the military, they don't, jerk off. Like, are you fucking kidding me? And that sharpens their mind. They're able to focus. They're able to actually, get the strength and get to their desired goals because they're not distracted. And they're not around women as well. They're around other men who are on the same mission. This is very important. If you can find some sort of tribe, to rock with, that is great. That's pretty difficult to find though. It depends what stage you're at in life and all that. But, you could find that along the way. Usually when you find your success, you'll find other people who kind of, match up with that. But regardless, I'm 87 days in and I wouldn't trade this experience in for the world. Like, this is probably the farthest I've ever gone. Past 100 days, I'll know it's the farthest I've ever gone. So I'm not really sure. I know I've been done almost 3 months before. But yeah, we're almost at 3 months again. So this is almost the farthest I've ever gone. And I've just been so focused and, ready to go. My body's getting better and better and better. My mindset's getting better and better and better. Just like I say all the time, pretend you're that movie character. Like you're in that movie, the Rocky movie, or this or that, and this is your montage. This is your montage. You don't want clips in your montage to be you just scrolling on social media or you watching whatever, like doing stupid shit, or you just eating cookies. No, you want that crazy, epic, motivating montage that you can watch back personally and be like, yo, this is motivating, and it'll fire you up. You should fire yourself up. You should think of yourself and just get fired up by that. Like, yeah, I'm that person. When I was in the gym the other day, those Stairmaster thoughts, when you're deep into a cut and you're not eating too much anymore, you're kind of fasted and you're just going through the motions of getting that cardio done. Those are majestic moments because I just close my eyes on the Stairmaster at points, because I would do it for like 2 hours. I would just close my eyes on the Stairmaster and just imagine everything, and I just picture myself as this, character in a comic book. And these are scenes from the comic book. I picture it in my mind. It just flows into my mind. I'm not even trying to picture anything. It just automatically flows into my mind. And I just feel awesome all the time. Like, I feel good all the time. A little bit good, too good sometimes. Like yesterday, I was feeling too good. And I just wanted to, fuck all the bad, not even all the, like, every single bitch that was there, like, not even the bad ones too, just the ugly ones too, like, didn't even fucking matter. Just feel like a dog. I needed to just really properly transmute that energy. Like, sometimes you're going to get tested in life, but you need to realize you are, you're better than that, you're harder than that. And then just keep pushing forward. Don't get all caught up on that and think that's who you are. Just, you know, if you mess up in your mind and you get a little bit lustful, you're human. It's alright, it's part of the process. But you just gotta, push through it, push past it, and remember the goal in mind. Maybe I want to, chill out a bit once I get to the desired goal, but I don't think it's going to be like that. I think once I get to the desired goal, I'm just going to want, harder tasks and do harder things. Because what's the point otherwise? I want to beat out all the competition, At the end of my life, I want to have truly just conquered myself in every single aspect. Everything that, like, any limiting belief that I might have ever had throughout my life, I conquered it. I want to just, I'm going to do that. That's what I'm going to do. That's who I am. I'm just I'm not somebody who gives up anymore. I'm not. I used to be, and that's the very thing that would get me so, depressed and have me so anxious, because I wasn't, fulfilling my potential that I knew I had. I wasn't doing everything in my power. I was making excuses all the time for my lack of capability. But I just had to realize, I have to put in the hard work and get the hard things done, and everything will come into fruition. That's the other thing too. Like, I've become a lot more detached from the outcome. Like, I'm not so hyper fixated on the outcome, a little bit, because, I'm trying to manifest a little bit more and all that, but I'm not like, I don't need it to happen. I already feel like it happened. Like, regardless if I'm driving a beat up, 1980 Toyota or a fucking Ferrari, it doesn't matter to me. Because in all scenarios, I'm still like that motherfucker who has the physique, has the willpower, has the drive. And I give it my all every single day with everything that I do. My job, it doesn't matter. Like, people can't understand this or comprehend this at my job. All the time, they'll try to ask me to move up within the company. All the time, at least once a month, a new manager will spawn in and start asking me, oh, do I want to move up? And then why not? I really question it, because they see I work so hard and I'm a good employee. But I don't do it for that. Like, that's not the goal in mind. I do it to try to confirm to myself that I can. That's all. That's the only reason. I work hard to confirm that, I am a hard worker. That's the only reason. I don't do it for the outcome of, potentially becoming a manager or anything like that. I don't care for it. I don't care at all. I want to just master myself. That doesn't have anything to do with my path. And my manager, like, the big head manager of the entire building, he pulled me to the side and really tried to talk me into it. And I told him no. Like, I have greater capabilities than this. And I understand you're just looking out for me, you're trying to help me out, but I'm meant for so much more. And even if that, like, none of that ends up happening, I try my best. So I'd rather just go for that than to, get that good promotion, good job, and settle, because I know for a fact that's where I would get comfortable. That's where it would almost be too good to try to, like, leave behind. So I can't even get in that position in the first place. I need to still have it like real gritty, you know? Have to force myself to work that overtime and do all that until I, get to a point where I don't have to do that anymore. And then recreate a new type of hard every single time. Just create a new hard. That's what it's all about. That's the only thing that, will push your reality forward is if you just keep making things harder for yourself, but in a positive way, you know? Trying to push myself in the gym a lot more, trying to push my dieting a lot more, trying to just learn more in general about myself, about how do I get from A to B, how do I do this, how do I do that, how do I become a better businessman, how do I become a better YouTuber, how do I talk better on camera, how do I just do all these things, and they come with time, but a lot of it is just repetition, getting used to the habit of doing the hard work, and the repetition over time just kind of works itself out. It's a self-fulfilling thing all the time. Like you'll think that you want the outcome at first, but no. Like the closer I get to, having my first $100,000 in the bank and having my first, just big opportunities and all that, like the closer I get to that, the less I care for it. Like I'm just so detached from the outcome. And I feel like you have to be. And I didn't understand this for a long time, but you have to be detached from the outcome and just truly just work on, your internals, and everything will just come to fruition regardless. Everything you actually want will transpire. I also, and I need to get back into, my original passion and my original love, just for the sake of it, not to make money from it or anything, of just painting and drawing, I'm really, really good at that. I've just always been naturally talented at that, you know. I was always in high school, I was at the top of my art class. I was just the top guy who can just outdraw anyone. Is not being me being arrogant, it's just me being realistic. There's maybe like one or two other people in the class that could kind of match my capability, but then like I never pushed past that. And that's something that's, difficult for me to do, to try to get better and better and better at it. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of time, but it's something I need to dive deeper into because, why not? I was born with that capability, so I should give that my all as well. Try to manage my time better, leave time for it, and just start working on it again, slowly but surely, especially with like the work ethic that I have now. I feel like I could really make some cool masterpieces, and not for anyone to see but myself. Like just to truly just work on my art for myself and admire it for myself. Maybe show it to my family, but that's about it, you know? I love that. I love that shit. I love art in general, man. That's what I feel like I am. I've been my whole life. I've always been an artist. This is just another form of my art. These videos are just another form of my art. The way that I talk, the way that the way that, the camera is framed and it's dark with the lighting setup, the way that I try to figure out how to make it the most appealing looking and all that is part of the art. The art of just, and this whole account is also just kind of like the art of insanity and the art of like becoming, I don't know, this is like, this feels like true just art right here. I really love the process of this art project. That's all it really is at the end of the day. Everything that I do in my life is just a big art project. Working on my body, my physique, big art project yet again. Trying to just sculpt out, make it better, little by little by little, detail by detail. really paint it out and be patient with the process. That's what a true artist is, and not caring about the outcome. Because sometimes, when I would start a painting, I would expect the outcome to be something different a lot of the time. But then as I just go through the motions of creating, the outcome becomes completely different, and it doesn't even matter because I'm more happy with the end result because I just did it, you know? And the outcome isn't what I thought it would be, but it's even better because I just stopped caring about the outcome. And that's how I have to just treat everything else in my life. Like, I don't care about money or this or that, you know? I have a job that, can afford my rent right now, can afford my lifestyle right now. I make enough money to put aside for investments and all that as well. I still grind my ass off, but I still put in 60, 70 hours a week, like a physical labor. But I make enough to where, I can afford my life right now. It's not going to be a forever thing, right? I'll make more money eventually and all of that, maybe very soon. But I'm not like fixated on that. Like that just will happen. That just will be an inevitable outcome of just me trying more, trying harder. Just me doing things. You have to understand too, you are the asset. There is no greater asset than you. You are the asset. Realize that and work with that, work through that. Like, you have these special capabilities. You have something like within you that a lot of people don't have. You have a talent, you have a skill. I sucked at like every sport I ever fucking played because my hands would just be like too small to even grip like the ball and all that. Like, I was just too short for basketball. I just sucked at every sport. I was decent at soccer, I guess, because I didn't have to hold anything with my hands, and I could run pretty quick. But like sports wise, I was never talented. But some people will just have that natural talent, and you got to bank off that. Like, you have to keep doing that. Not for the pursuit of the outcome of, oh, maybe I'll be, in, say you want to be a football player, soccer player for Americans, but football. If you want to be one of those, oh, maybe one day I could make it to the World Cup. And you could have that in the back of your mind, but don't make that the entire like outcome of it. Just put in the work and see what happens. Maybe you will get to a point where, you get on a professional team and you work your way to the World Cup, maybe. But don't make that the entire outcome. Just enjoy the process of it and just make sure that you put in your all in every single aspect of, trying to develop your skill. You need to be working on some sort of skill within your life. A lot of people are very just dormant, very okay with just doing a whole lot of nothing, doing a whole lot of chilling. And maybe that's your thing too. Like, if you just do not care and you want to just chill and play video games, and for you that is just a fulfilling life, then fucking go for it. Go for it. Maybe have a job where, like, you can afford rent at least. And it could be even be a shitty job, and maybe you can't even really afford food too much. But if that's what you want your life to be, then fuck it. Just get away from living with your parents. Get under your own roof and do what you want. Like, real shit. Like, people get hated on or shitted on for like wanting to do that, but like, as long as you're not affecting anybody else, I think that's sick. Like, if you find your passion and that's what you want to do, cool. Like, who cares? You know? if you just want to scroll, this is like doomsday scenario, but if you just want to be somebody who scrolls on TikTok for your entire life, I guess just go for it. That's a terrible example because that's actually horrible. But regardless, just do what you want. As long as you don't affect anybody else, you're under your own roof, you make your own sort of money, kind of money, just do what you want and try to get better, you know? There's always an opportunity to get a better job and better this, better that. I mean, with AI and all that, within the next 20 to 30 years, maybe sooner, who knows? But, you know, try to get at least a bit of a comfortable cushion now, just, a job, because not all jobs will go away. Some jobs will still remain, so just do what you want, man. Just do what you want. If you want to, you know, if you want to conquer the world, then do it. Your own world. If you want to, make millions and millions of dollars, find a way to do it. Make that your life mission. There's no like, the thing is, you're going to be judged regardless. Literally, you're going to be judged. I just came to this realization right now. You're going to be judged whether you want to just play video games for your entire life and work at McDonald's, which is fine. But you'll be judged for that like crazy. Or you're somebody who wants to chase their dreams and make millions and millions and millions of dollars. You will be judged for that as well. But with that, like once it works out, then people will like come around. I mean, you still get judged. But in the process of both of those, you get judged regardless. So you should not care. It is your life. You only get one of these. Do what you want. Do what you want. If you just like really enjoy nature and you really don't need much, then, try to find a job that's not too taxing on you. Find maybe a little apartment and just enjoy nature. Find somebody in life that, enjoys nature with you. A woman that enjoys nature and doesn't need all this materialistic shit. You'll think from social media that that's all that girls want. They just all want all this materialistic things. They want somebody who's famous, who's ripped, who's this, that. I mean, partially true because women are hypergamous, but everybody's different. You can find somebody who, matches to you. You can find somebody who really just likes to play video games as well. And she could be pretty and all that as well. But you just have to find that. You have to find your match. And maybe not. If you don't want to, you don't have to. If you don't want a partner to enjoy life with, that's cool too. Maybe you'd rather just be alone or be with your homies. That's cool too. Just thing is, do what you want and give it your all and just enjoy this life. 87 days on semen retention. You guys should really just give it a try if you haven't already. This is always just going to be proof of concept of the whole ideology of that. Like, you can do whatever you want. And you're going to see my dreams unfold and manifest just based off the power of belief and, working hard every day. That's it. That's all it takes. And then patience. Be patient. Give it time. Water that plant every day. Water the seed every day before it even sprouts. It could take years for that seed to sprout, but then one day, it will bloom into a beautiful tree, plant, flower, orange, whatever. But just keep watering. Keep, giving it love, attention, give it that sunlight, and it will become something beautiful. I love you guys, like always. Just